And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Wisdom Transmissions Live. Let me just make sure my camera's straight there. There we go. All right. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode. I'm looking forward to today. Today is really just about some topics from the audience, so I don't really have any particular theme of discussion today. I usually like to do this once in a while, just to kind of leave the questions and the topics to the audience. So that is exactly what we'll be doing here today. So if you do have a question, for example, for Adronis, just feel free to mention Adronis in your question, and then I'll be happy to bring him through. Otherwise, there will be questions with the tarot or questions with the Akashic records that I'm connecting to. So we will have quite a few options here available. First and foremost, before we get started, we're going to go ahead and move into announcements first and foremost. So, the Ancient Egypt Halls of Amenti tour. I was talking about this in the previous week, where we're going to be having a guided tour in Cairo, Egypt. And it's called the Halls of Amenti tour. So this is a 9-day, 8-night tour to Cairo. We're going to be visiting Abu Simbel. We're going to have a Nile cruise. We're going to be visiting Luxor. We're going to have a private tour inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. And we're going to have some workshops with Adronis as well, too. And I'm also going to be bringing in the star ancestors. I'm going to be bringing in the ancients, and we're going to be doing a sacred initiation into the halls of Amenti with the people that are on tour. This has never been done before, so I'm really looking forward to this. I'm already feeling a lot of the connections with the star ancestors. So the ancients that are going to come through and basically come forward and initiate you into the halls of Amenti realm, but also the halls of Amenti tour teachings as well. So it's going to be really, really fascinating. So again, you can check out the website, wowtours.de. This is going to be happening in 2025, in between November 8th and November 16th. So I'm looking forward to this. I've wanted to go to Egypt for such a long time. And of course, we're actually able to go inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. This is going to be really exciting. So again, if you are interested, if you want to register, just go to wowtours.de. I will be doing some more information videos as time progresses and talking more about that. I think we're already about 35% sold. Okay, so tickets or registrations are basically already happening, and they're selling pretty quickly. So if you want to take advantage of ancient Egypt, going to Cairo with me, meeting some really amazing people along the way, and having this incredible adventure, go check it out, wowtours.de. Okay, moving on further.
Private one-to-one sessions have returned with Brad Johnson and Adronis, with appointment times from 30, 45, and 60 minutes online. Offline sessions including the 3 questions by email and distance healing are now available. Book your session now through our website, wisdomtransmissions.com.
Get readings with Brianne and be astonished at the depth and accuracy she provides for you through her tarot readings. Brianne can create crystal grids for distance healing, plus offer Reiki and Kundalini attunements. She is also a certified Flying Star Feng Shui consultant. Visit Brianne's website and book your session today at readingswithbrianne.com.
Source Energy enhanced products to repair and rejuvenate the body. From the power of light to crystals to bed kits, card decks, and more. View our free samples, tutorials, and testimonials on our website, etherx.co.
And so this was the old prototype for the manifestation wheel. And so I have an announcement today. There's going to be a $50 off deal for the manifestation wheel later today. I'm going to be doing it after the broadcast here today. But this is the old-fashioned prototype of the manifestation wheel. So people are now receiving their manifestation wheels, and I'm seeing people contact me, giving me some really great praise for this very simple technology. It is working very, very well. So again, if you want to check out the manifestation wheel, that is our key product. That is our premier product, I should say. on etherics.co right now. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a sale today that's going to go all throughout December 21st, right up into the solstice, where it will be $50 off. Okay, so that will be coming later today. You'll find that on etherics.co. If you're already signed up as a customer, if you're already subscribed to the newsletter, you'll get that newsletter that will tell you about it. If not, go to etherics.co, scroll all the way down to the footer of the page. You'll see the email there. You can sign up and you can subscribe to the newsletter, and you'll be informed once that's ready. But it will be ready today. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with some questions. And I'm going to go ahead and go with the donation-based questions first, as I always do. Okay, so thank you all for, once again, your questions. I'm looking forward to seeing what topics we're going to go through today. All right, let's start off firstly here with Maria. Maria says, "Hi, Brad. Could you please advise me on what direction to take with my business? Because this year is less and less profitable. Thank you so much." Okay, let's take a look here. So Maria here. I think you just need to start putting some new ideas together. It's not to say that that your business doesn't work. It's just that I think because you're growing, you're evolving, you're advancing, your business has to catch up to where you are, right? And if it's not there, then it's going to struggle quite a bit. So my feeling is maybe giving it some more appeal that, again, will be relatable to a lot more people. I would also suggest maybe connecting with someone who can also help you with marketing and strategy, just as you fine-tune the business a little bit more. It's kind of like a musical instrument, right? If we're winding it up too tight, if we're winding it too loose, we need to make sure that the chords are appropriate so we can get the appropriate melody off of it, right? So pertaining to your business, I feel number one, update it, evolve it into where you're currently at. Number two, talk to somebody, a marketing coordinator, a marketing strategist who can help you out with your business and take it to that next level. Okay. So I would suggest that you're meditating on that particular person who's going to help you out. So this is where we're going into that low idle state. That's where we're going into something like Rachaka breath, breathing in for 4, breathing out for 8, keep the body completely relaxed, keep it completely centered, and just ask for spirit to bring that person to you and see your business grow. Okay. What I'll do is I'll do a very quick tarot on your work right now. This will just give me a little bit more idea of what you're going through. Now, of course, I'm really just giving you some very brief tidbits and breadcrumbs here. I would like to know a little bit more about your business so I can advise you a little bit more, but this is just kind of what's coming off the bat. Okay. And let's go ahead and take a look at the tarot here real quick. Do a quick 4-card reading for you about your business. Yeah, it's basically saying the exact same thing I'm saying to you, okay? So it needs to be revised. It needs to be brought into kind of a new light a little bit more, right? So we have the Queen of Swords. She's kind of like a proofreader. She'll go in, she'll thoroughly start to examine the business if this is something that really complements you, okay? So again, here we have the King of Swords. We have the Queen, we have the King. So again, we need to do a lot more thorough analysis on the work that you are doing. But I feel when you do that, things are going to change. So basically, this is where I feel also the King of Swords may represent the other person that's going to come in to help you out a lot more. Okay. So again, Ace of Swords represents that idea of fine-tuning the business. And then I feel it's going to start moving much more into profitability, not right away, but gradually. Okay. So kind of a confirmation there from the tarot as well. Thank you, Maria, for your question. Okay, let's move on. This one here is from Solstice. Oh, sorry, that's Maria again. Go ahead and unstar that. There we go. Okay, this one here is from Solstice. Okay, Solstice says, "Hi, Adronis. Can you please give me a sneak peek on what I can look forward to and inspect in 2025? Okay, guys, I basically have to kind of tell you, I don't like those kind of questions. Okay, it's not to say that we can't give a good amount of information on it, but the whole idea is that we're kind of spitballing here. So really, guys, even if you're donating, I won't be taking questions like this, okay? So I really want you to give a little bit more specificity relating to what it is that you're seeking out. Tell me, is it about career? Is it about relationships? Is it about moving? Is it about travel, right? Is it about finance? Whatever it may be. I want you guys to please provide me with a topic, okay? So Solstice, I will do this one for you this time, but even if you give me a donation-based question, I will not take these kind of questions, okay? And I've told clients this before in the past. I said, please don't give me, oh, just what is it that I need to hear? No. I don't do that, okay? So I'm just letting you guys know that even by donation-based questions, please do not give me questions like this, okay? So I'll have to remember to mention that before each webcast as well too. Please don't just give me, can you give me a general reading? No. Okay. I want you to have a little more specifics and topics about what you actually want to discuss. Okay. So Solstice, I will do this for you this time. After that, no. I like to have those kind of topics to find out exactly what it is, because otherwise we're just spending so much time looking at a full reading that I would often take a half hour to read for another person. And guys, we don't have that kind of time. Okay. Even though I appreciate you guys doing donation-based readings, donation readings usually stick around 5 minutes or so. Okay. So please be specific with your topics when you have questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to ignore them. Okay. Even if they're donation-based. All right. So let me do this one here for Solstice here, because the good, the bad, and everything, like Solstice, that's like a half-hour reading right there. Okay. So that's why I'm kind of saying, please, guys, don't do that. Okay. So let's see what Adronis can share with you all together pertaining to your reading. Let me just go ahead and take a moment here. Terra Soul Star Adronis. We are here at this time. We bid you greetings and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to the one known as Solstice. We thank you for your question. We may suggest that you may be interested in investments. All right. So this may represent the idea of something that you may want to get involved with, about looking into further investments for yourself, something that you may want to put some money down towards. We also feel that there may be a very large trip coming together with you, somewhere beautiful, somewhere tropical in that way, where you may be meeting again some very interesting people that again may be of like mind, perhaps meeting more spiritual communities, or again those of, shall we say, that particular type of nature to help grow, to help learn. We also feel that there may also be stronger angelic connections that you may also connect with. So we may suggest the idea of you connecting with some of the archangels, such as Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael, looking into that particular degree. We also suggest a little bit more about you sharpening much more in regards to your states of meditation, involving more deeper states of breath, involving deeper aspects of pranayama, looking into the idea again, alternate nostril breathing, Brachaka pranayama, getting a little bit more deeper into the nature of yoga and other particular practices that can assist you in states of evolution that help you a lot more further pertaining to your own inner spiritual path. We also feel in that sense that there may be some letdowns relating to family members in regards to, shall we say, you deciding to pursue things that may not be pertaining to their own interests. Again, there may be the idea of a drive for someone to basically hammer down on you to move much more into the nature of materialism for the sake of security. But again, you feel that you want to bring the spiritual, the integrative nature of the soul into your work. And so always make sure you are following through with that. All right. This is what we can share with you at this time. We thank you. Okay. Thank you, Solstice. So again, hope that message is clear to everybody. So please give me specifics. It just helps because we want to try and keep these readings short. I appreciate the donations, but we got a lot of people here that are asking questions, so I got to give them time. Okay, so thank you, Solstice. Let's go on to Samar. Okay. So, Samara, I'm not going to bring Adronis in for this one, okay? So when do you see me traveling abroad? I'm basically just going to do the Akasha for this. So because I've done quite a few readings for you in the past, okay? So let me take a look here. Well, I feel like you need to get your financial affairs in order first, okay? But I feel like there could be a good opportunity happening within the next 3 to 6 months of you perhaps traveling abroad, okay? But I feel like there needs to be a little bit more fine-tuning of your finances, a little more fine-tuning of kind of like your groundwork here, getting a good amount of stable income so that you can start traveling abroad further. But I feel the next 3 to 6 months will give the opportunity for that, okay? Thank you, Samar. Okay. Let's go on to Sergeant. Sergeant says, hello, Brad. Can you give us a status update on the San Andreas Fault in California? Another channeler received a message of the big one hitting California in June of 2025. Intention was not to spread fear, but start evacuating California. Okay, well, I'll take a look at this. I think I'll look at this both through the Akasha and through the cards as well, too. Okay, but let's start off with the Akasha first, about the San Andreas Fault. Okay. Well, it's true. There is some kind of looseness with the feeling of the San Andreas Fault. Okay, I do feel like it is shaky ground, but I don't see a big one coming. Okay, so I'm not really seeing the idea of a big one, and we've talked about this quite extensively in the past, just pertaining to the entire West Coast. The reason being is because there is so much love energy on the West Coast of the United States and even in Canada as well too. So if we're going all the way up from British Columbia, we're going all the way down to California. Yes, there certainly have been some fault lines. There certainly has been some shakeups here and there, but nothing major or detrimental. People are giving these predictions every single year. It's been like every single year since the 1990s. Oh, this will be the year where there's the big one, said back in 1991, 92, 93, all the way up into this time. Everybody starts off with that when we get into a new year. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting quite a bit. I'm not saying that there aren't earthquakes that will be coming, but I don't feel like there will be anything that will cause a major catastrophe. Okay, a lot of what caused danger to the San Andreas Fault before is when there is artificial means of trying to create disasters, and that has been heavily protected, and I still feel it is going to be heavily protected. Okay, but let's go ahead and take a look at the cards here, and I'm just going to ask about the status of San Andreas Fault in California for the year of 2025. I'm just basically doing the entire year rather than just June, okay? Seeing how things are going with the San Andreas Fault, okay? Let's see. San Andreas Fault is stable. Okay, so like I said, what they've been trying to do in the past is they've tried to destabilize it, right? They can use certain forms of weaponry, and basically you could call it quote unquote deep state, right? They have been trying to create that with California because they're trying to fulfill a biblical prophecy, but they're losing more and more of that power every single day. I am not getting anything in regards to a disaster representing San Andreas, okay? I'm feeling that, again, there's going to be a lot more stability. There's going to be a lot more care. There's a lot more meditation going on. There's a lot more love being spread about. Like I said, California, just by itself, is a powerful mystical energy of a space, okay? So we're getting kind of similar things, like with these swords. And I said, just it's kind of like cut through the BS, okay? There's always going to be a channeler. There's always going to be a psychic. There's always going to be an intuitive. There's always going to be an astrologer who's going to cast doom and gloom, maybe on California, maybe on New York or wherever, right? It happens every year, my friends. I've seen it constantly, ever since I've been doing this work. Every single year, about a New Year's, something bad's about to happen to California. And I look at it and no, California's fine. Oh, no, but there is, right? Is this going to happen? I'm like, okay, well, let's see what the rest of the year brings. Rest of the year comes, may have had some small quakes around California, but nothing that basically is catastrophic, okay? I'm not getting that. I've seen so many people that constantly throw that at California and say, sorry guys, I'm not getting that. I'm not getting anything about California being detrimentally in a state of catastrophe because of an earthquake hitting California. They spin this crap every single year, right? And I'm sorry guys, but I'm not getting that. I'm not getting anything of that nature. If anything, California is going to prosper. Okay? It is not going to sink into the ocean or break apart or anything of that nature. Right? Just get so much into these biblical prophecies and these biblical predictions about the idea of the end of California, or the end of the West Coast, or the end of the East Coast, or any of that stuff. So, guys, we're way past that now. We're past those timelines. Like I said, it's not to say that we're not going to get shakeups. Okay, there will be shakeups, but it's not going to lead to anything catastrophic. Not for what I'm seeing. Okay, so thank you, Sergeant, for your question. Moving on. Okay, this one here is from Curious Mind. Can Adronis please let me know if something I'm eating is bothering my digestive system, as I've been having some trouble on and off for the past few weeks? Just a moment. Okay. What I'm doing is I'm basically courting to you. This is basically so Adronis can work together with your energy, and we can take a look and see what may be going on. Okay. We thank you very much, Curious Mind, for your question. As we scan your body right now, you want to take better care of your stomach. You have low stomach acid pertaining to your stomach right now. Your stomach is in a little bit of rough shape. So you may want to basically drink quite a bit of mineral water. All right. Now, there's a couple different ways of what you can do. Number one is you can basically get spring mineral water. Basically, if you have a spring within your area, we would certainly suggest this. Number two, if you may just have, as you would say, common filtered water, we recommend having a strong mineral salt that contains a sufficient amount of minerals, such as what we have recommended before, the Baja Gold Sea Salt, BAJAGOLD, Baja Gold Sea Salt. Taking a pinch of that and putting it in your water, giving it a little bit of a stir, and starting to clean out the stomach a little bit more. All right. The stomach, when it is upset, that is what's actually leading to more difficulty throughout your entire body. It is the first organ that is being touched by any particular type of contaminated food or other particular form of processed consumption that you are doing. So you want to make sure you're taking good care of the stomach, flush it out. So we would suggest having about 4 glasses, so approximately 16 ounces of this particular water that we're suggesting, whether it's natural spring water or, again, taking the mineral salt, putting that directly into the water and drinking a significant amount. We recommend 16-ounce glasses of water and being able to flush out the body. All right. Once that happens, we would also like you to start Om chanting directly into the stomach itself. So all you're doing is just taking your 4 fingers here, putting it right here, right underneath the sternum, right here. This needs to be your target point for the Om chanting, as you're Om chanting directly into the stomach. All right. What that does is that helps to bring about a vibrational cleansing of the stomach as well. So work together with mineral salts, with water, and with Om chanting, helping to clear out the stomach and being able to work a lot more with foods that are more complementary to the stomach, right? Living foods, vital foods, superfoods, building the flora and fauna back into the stomach. The stomach is where you need to start. All right. We thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much, Curious Mind, for your question. All right. Moving on. Okay, this one here is from Ben. Ben says, Dear Brad, should we expect Russian attacks on military targets in Europe due to the ongoing provocations of the deep state? Okay, just a moment. No. In fact, a lot of cooler heads are going to prevail as we go further into 2025. So this isn't nothing new, my friends. Everything pertaining to the deep state, the dirty players, basically badgering Russia. That's basically what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, go ahead and attack this, because then we'll get WW3. Right? And that's not what I'm seeing happen. In fact, I'm seeing a lot more of a cooling of energy coming down here. Right? So Russia's not stupid. They're not like an angry dog that's just going to shoot at everybody who basically tries to provoke them. Okay. Let me also take a look at the cards pertaining to this. So I'm not really getting anything pertaining to that. So we'll take a look at what Russia is going through pertaining to these targets in Europe with ongoing provocations. Okay. Yeah. Cooler heads are prevailing here. We got all positive cards. Okay. So they're not going to take the bait because this is the whole idea, guys. What you see in front of the scenes is the show. That's the three-ring circus. What's actually happening behind the scenes is a very different story because those very people that are provoking and the people that work for those provokers are basically being taken down in secret. Okay. So we're basically seeing strength. We're seeing the Empress. We're seeing the Knight of Pentacles. We're seeing the Three of Wands. So everything here basically tells me clear, positive skies are ahead. Cooler heads are going to prevail. There basically are going to be takedowns, but takedowns that are not going to seem so obvious, right? They're not just going to go and shoot missiles at some countries in regards to corrupt provocation, right? A lot of this is going to be handled much more behind the scenes, taking down the instigators, so to speak. And that is not going to be done with missiles. That's going to be done more so with secret task forces, just as I've talked about before in the past. But I'm getting nothing but positive cards here. Okay, so that's telling me exactly what I'm getting here from the Akasha. It's not going to lead to all-out war with different European countries, with military targets in certain European countries pertaining to that. Okay, it is going to change into something great. 2025 represents a time of endings, a time of culmination. So we're wrapping up a lot of these things. We're not starting something new. This is not a year where new things are happening, right? This is basically taking a lot of things that have been around for quite some time and maybe amplifying them. But we're not looking at something new here pertaining to new wars or anything of that nature. If anything, that is going to plummet. Wars are going to plummet. They are not going to increase. That's what I'm getting. Okay. Thank you very much for your question. Okay. Let's move on. Okay, EUM 142. Hi, Adronis. Is there a high probability my desired female partner may show up next year, which I have created as per your private session instructions? Okay, just a moment. Thank you very much, EUM 142. You are going about this the wrong way. Your expectations are too high, and that's actually what's preventing a partner from coming into your life. You expect too much of it. You're riding too high on this wave. You need to let the wave settle. You're trying to control your externalities, and that's going to cause further delays. So how about you settle? How about you focus on you for now? We understand the idea of your desire for a partner. But the whole idea is if that's all you're dwelling upon, it is going to be significantly delayed because what you're doing is you're holding down the opportunity. So yes, there is an opportunity for that if you start living your life the way you need to, which means you're starting to bring more love through yourself. You're healing your wounds. You're healing your traumas. You're looking at past relationships. You're healing those. As that happens, when you approach a new relationship, you're not living through a past one into a present one. So you need to start working together with some internal house cleaning, some inner cleaning to take place so that you get your mind off of that and let life bring you those opportunities without you constantly demanding it and wanting control of it. As long as you're like that, it will be delayed further. So you need to get your mind off of that. Focus on yourself. You are the most important relationship. All right? We thank you for your question. Okay. So yes, that's a very common topic I get from people as well too, is they want partners, they want relationships, but all they're doing is it's like they're digging their elbow into the opportunity that's coming because they're expecting it every single day. They expect, and this is exactly what's happened to me years ago as well too, when I was looking for partners and all that, and I was digging my elbow into it. What about this person? What about this person? You just become obsessed with it, and that is going to lead to a negativity. That's going to lead to a detriment. That's going to lead to a great delay of anything like that coming together. You need to be in harmony with yourself. Relationships need to start here first. And then once we get that a lot more cleaned up, then we can spread it, and then new relationships can forge. Okay, so EUM142, hope that answers your question. Thank you. Okay, moving on. This one here is from Krati. Krati says, Adronis, why am I facing stagnation for so many years in my life? I can't see opportunities in career as well as love. If this is a soul theme plan, then I wish to change it because you have to heal yourself. I don't need Adronis for this, okay? Krati, what you are asking is so common, okay? And this is exactly why I'm providing many of you with these free techniques, because you have to go in and you have to heal your wounds. If all you have done is made a gigantic bloat out of everything pertaining to your relationships, pertaining to career, pertaining to finance, anything of that nature, you've created these sores. You've created this aggregated bloat within yourself because you've been hurt. Remember what the 4 traumas are: abandonment, rejection, abuse, addiction, escape. Okay? If any of those ring a bell, if we have been hurt in the past, if we have basically been discouraged in the past and saying, I'm never going to amount to anything, people don't think I have what it takes to do this, and I'm just so completely hell-bent on trying to prove them wrong, well, that's keeping you in stagnancy. You need to go back into those younger years and you need to heal them. So this is why I suggest one of the techniques you can work with is through the trauma transcendence technique. Okay, you go onto my YouTube channel or just go onto the YouTube search bar and type in Brad Johnson, trauma transcendence. Okay, the webcast will come up. And there is where I demonstrate the trauma transcendence technique. Krati, I would like you to use that. Okay, and what you're doing is you're healing your past. You will learn this by going into the Etherics Academy, by working with student training, and then going into the coaches training. You will also learn this through the Adronis classroom. Adronis teaches this quite a bit in regards to the trauma transcendence technique. Okay, what you have to do is you have to heal your wounds. You're bleeding everywhere. And this is what happens. It's like we're going out in public and we got all these big lacerations on us because we're carrying so much wounds around, and you're bleeding out. Right? And as you're bleeding out, all these people don't want to be around you. Like, oh my God, what's happening to this person? This person's like just bleeding everywhere because you're not healing your wounds, and your wounds need to be healed. So for everything to pick up into something that represents your own natural balance, you have to go back into your past. You need to go back into your younger years and say, okay, was there anything in regards to what happened to me when I was 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21 years of age that basically traumatized me, representing relationships, finances, career, my job, my school, right? And we start going through these and we start saying, yeah, this is exactly what happened with my mom, my dad, right? My mom did this, my dad did this. My brother did this, my sister did this. My student classmate did this, my teacher did this. So we start off from the beginning. You have to work from the beginning. And the beginning starts with one person, your mother. Okay? You need to look in the idea of the relationship with your mother and see exactly what has happened there. Anything detrimental in your younger years that you can recall. That's what we clear. This is what we call finding the red dominoes. As we clear out the red dominoes, now we can start clearing out everything else. And now everything starts to balance itself out, because we're basically emotionally hurt. We are traumatically hurt. We're basically on the boundary of PTSD because we find all of these problems within ourselves, but we don't heal them. You don't heal them properly. And no offense, but a lot of people really don't know how to heal these wounds properly because they still linger on even after you've done work. This is why I've invented the trauma transcendence technique, because we neutralize it, we send it back to nothing. We take care of the bloat. We shrink down the bloat so that nothing is there. And then we send that theme back to nothing. We send it back to the ether. It came from the ether. It goes back to the ether. The only reason that bloat is here is because you've identified with it. You've created identity around it. It's like a football contained inside this rubber hose that's just constantly throbbing and pulsating and is aggravated. We need to shrink it down. That's exactly what we do with TTT, trauma transcendence technique. Okay. Once we shrink that down, we send it back to the ether. Once you clear that out, everything changes. Okay, I am living proof of this, because these are my experiences that I'm giving to all of you. And I can guarantee you, everything changes. I come from a place where I was completely penniless. I had hardly any money to my name. I started implementing earlier techniques to like what I'm teaching all of you, and everything changed. Everything bounced back. Relationships started to balance, career started to balance, money started to balance, relationships started to balance, the ability to travel across the world, all of it balanced, because I looked at the stagnancy, I looked at the swelling, I looked at the pulsation that was going on, and that is exactly what got cleared. So Krati, that is what I recommend to you, okay? Why are you facing stagnancy? Because you haven't healed yourself. You haven't healed these wounds. You haven't looked into your traumas in your past. You haven't made peace with them. And as long as you continue to do that, you're going to have stagnancy. Stagnancy exists because of identity crisis. You think you're this pain. You think you're this suffering. You think you're this identity. That's all got to go. So, Krati, if you need more experience, not experience, but more advice on this, talk to me. Okay, drop me an email. Maybe let's do a session together. We can go through trauma transcendence technique. It's something I'm constantly working with my clients right now, and it's showing some incredible transformations. Not only my clients, my students as well. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we got a lot of donations today. Okay, this one here is from David. David says, hi, Brad, question for Adronis. When will the hypocrisy around the world and anti-Semitism start to dwindle down? What would be the events leading up to it? Well, that's a very, very big question. This is why I say when humanity grows up is basically the answer to that, okay? This is a big question, David. This is basically an entire webcast in itself about what you're asking about, okay? Hypocrisy around the world, in that sense, people don't even know that they're being hypocrites, okay? They don't even know that they're being anti-Semitic. They don't even know that they're being racist. They don't even know that they're being violent. It's ignorance. How long is that going to take to change? A few hundred years, maybe, okay? Because again, we are seeing people starting to move into the heart, right? But unfortunately, that's not a big amount of people, right? People are starting to move more into the heart. They're starting to see how unity solves everything, but it's still going to be a continuous lesson for several hundred years until humanity starts cooperating and working together with each other. But here's the thing. So many of you put so much emphasis on thinking that the collective of the earth needs to behave itself, and you're wasting your time. You're so busy judging every single person on this planet collectively that you are getting absolutely nothing done. Take your eyes off the planet and bring them in here and start working with yourself, because you are offended by what the world does. You are in a state of standstill and stagnancy based on what the world does. You are looking outside, and this is impacting you. And you need to heal it, just like I was talking about with Krati, pertaining to traumas of the past. Rather than constantly pointing the finger at 8 billion people on this planet and saying, when will the hypocrisy end? You are wasting your time with that nonsense, because that's not important. You're not going to be able to control 8 billion people, and getting some intuitive to try to tell you exactly when things are getting better is not going to make you feel any better. Rather, you are impacted by the offense of what these people are doing based upon your perspective of how you see them. That needs to be healed. Let the world be the world, because it's exactly what Adronis would tell you. What I'm telling you, almost word for word, is exactly what he would say. Let the world be the world. It's not your business. See exactly what the world has done to you to hurt you in this way, and heal your hurt. Work with healing your hurt. Heal your heart. Start from the beginning. Start with your relationships with your family. Start with your relationships with your friends, with your teachers, with the extended field that continues to move outwards. Clear that up, because that's the only reason why you're suffering. You are not suffering in this world because of how the world behaves. You are suffering from this world because of how you perceive the world to be and how people behave. It's all coming through your perceptions. It's all coming through your reactions. It's all coming through your desires, because your desires are hollow and they are very dense, and those desires have to go. And in order for us to heal our desires, we need to clear away the reactions that are causing those desires to spin around and round. Really goes back into like ancient Buddhist teachings, right? With the idea of the nature of all suffering comes from desires, our own desires. It's so easy for us to point a finger and say, oh, look at that country, look at that country, look at these people, look at that. And you're trying to control it, right? You want the world to be better for your sake, not for the world's sake, just so you can walk around the street and say, that's better. You're better, all behave yourself, right? That is wasted breath, that is wasted time, and that is ignorance of the highest degree. You need to get out of that. See what the world pertaining to your perceptions and your reactions has done to you. Realize that it's there and now heal it. Trauma transcendence technique. It's exactly what we do. And I'm building a 10-day e-course right now. It should be ready here in the next few days. Everybody will be able to attend this 10-day e-course for free. It's on my new website on Wisdom Transmissions. I'm doing a brand new website. I'm revamping it, and that will be available. And I suggest everybody who is constantly on this channel, please participate with it. Okay, it's on demand. You have videos, but this is something that will really, really help you out, because this isn't helping anybody's problems, my friends, right? And like I said, it's just, these are common questions that I get. When is the world going to grow up? Why is it being so anti-Semitic? Why is it being so racist? Blah, 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 blah. Why are you trying to control everything, right? You're just trying to make it better for your sake. That's really what it comes down to. And you need to start healing for your sake so that you can see beyond the fog of what this world represents. There are going to be aggressive people, my friends. There are going to be people who are cynical. There are going to be people who are racist. There are going to be people who are murderers. There are going to be people who are thieves. There are going to be people who will take advantage of others for hundreds of years to come. It's not your responsibility to feel like you have to take care of the world and you need to clean it up. You're wasting your time and your breath and your energy by doing that. Work on yourself. Work on how you perceive the world. Clean it up. Balance it. And now you will say, even though the world is like this, it does not affect me, because I'm going to make my world on this stage. I'm going to bring about peace. I'm going to bring about love. I'm going to bring about joy. I'm going to be the shining light example because I've cleaned myself up. And I'm going to work with people that see my peace, that see my love, that see my joy. And I'm going to form relationships with them. And my world is going to be beautiful because I've healed the terrible out of it. Okay? So David, I hope that makes sense. And the reason I spent some time on that question is because it is very, very popular. A very popular type of question that I've gotten for so many years. Okay. All right, let's move on to Madame Blue. Hi, Brad. Can Adronis advise the reason and implication of me seeing what appeared as Bastet, and what I think was a vision recently? I don't know what Bastet is. Okay. Madame Blue, I'd like you to email me, bradjohnson79@gmail.com. I don't know what Bastet is, so please give me a little bit more detail on that, and I'll be happy to get back to you on that. Okay, drop me an email. I'm sorry, I just don't know of that nature. Okay, you have to educate me a little bit on that. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Okay, Heart Whisper, will there be a layoff at work? If so, when? Why are you expecting layoffs? It's just kind of funny, my friends. It's like you're expecting disaster. You're not expecting, oh, well, I'm going to try and move past that whole idea of layoffs. And maybe I'm going to start looking into some new type of work that will benefit me a lot more. Okay. So Heart Whisper, let's take a look at your situation here. You're not happy with what you do at all. Okay. You're just working for a living. You're just earning a paycheck. So what does it matter really if there's a layoff or not? You're not happy with what you do. And that needs to be completely rearranged, right? I think it's time that you started looking into inner reflection and start moving into something that you actually enjoy doing. Let me go into the tarot. I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit further. I try to avoid such questions like this because, well, because it is a donation question, I've taken it. But these questions really are what we call going nowhere, okay? Because this is an internal fight of yourself. You're basically struggling and you're fighting with yourself, and you're basically working for a paycheck, and everything is basically a struggle. Everything is basically a scuffle. And you haven't given yourself time to reflect upon yourself and say, who am I? What do I want? Right? So with that particular job, whether there's layoffs or not, it's basically going to fade away anyways, because there's going to be a breaking point with that career, right? With the job that you're at right now. And I don't think it's going to be too much of a wait, perhaps under a year, for example. Okay. And I feel that you need to reflect upon yourself about how you see money for yourself. It is not just about going to a job and getting a paycheck for the heck of it. You are in a carnality. You are basically enslaving yourself for just the almighty dollar, which means you see money greater than you see yourself. And that's a problem, because this is what it's going to lead to. It's going to lead to ruin. It's going to lead to self-destruction. So you need to re-identify your nature with money and start working together with money as an ally, as a companion, rather than the idea of saying, I'm down here and money's up here, and I'm just doing what I can to make ends meet. Then basically you're in the pit. It's dog eat dog. And that's not living at all. That's complete and total survival. That's complete and total chaos, right? When you start recollecting on these things and you start looking into who you are, what you want, your relationship with money becomes a lot better. Brighter times will come ahead. So this is the near future for you. I think that these words need to be spoken in a way for you to reflect upon yourself, what you're putting yourself through that does not need to happen, and start looking into what you really want to do with yourself. And if that's something you need help with, you can always contact me. Okay, go to wisdomtransmissions.com, go to the contact page. You can contact me if you need more info. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. This one here is from Bang Bang. Hi, Brad. Can you tell me if I have a contract with some being or an alien, how to connect? I tried to learn to channel, still unsuccessful. Maybe his name, no. The thing is, you're jumping the gun, Bang Bang. That's not the problem, okay? And I've been teaching channeling now for about well over 10 years, okay? And this is what people come to me and say, Brad, who's my contact? Where is he from? Where is she from? What planet is she from? Blah, blah, blah. Why does that matter? That's superficial distraction, okay? That's not important. Here is what you do first, and you're taking this from an experienced channel. Go to the higher self first, okay? You do not run off to some entity, okay? That is like you basically running into the internet, not knowing what to do, and just start clicking on all of these pop-up ads that are trying to take your credit card number, okay? You're doing the exact same thing. You are basically in a state of an undisciplined nature. What you need to do first is you need to go to the higher self first before you touch any entity, okay? Before I touched Adronis, I was connecting to the higher self. I was going into that medium. And then opportunity came for Adronis to show himself, okay? But even when I first started, I was so enamored about talking to a collective consciousness of Arcturus or Pleiades or Lyra or anything of that nature. And I was so emphatic about that. But then again, I was learning a lot more from the people I was talking to. No, Brad, go to your higher self first. Go to the higher self first. Don't just run into an entity. You have no idea what that entity is about. You have no idea where that entity is from. You have no idea of what that entity's intention is. And this can basically lead to being fed upon. Okay, don't be ignorant with the idea of channeling. Okay, and this is why I don't really teach channeling so much anymore. It's basically I'm teaching you about your own inner transmission. I'm teaching about your inner source. That's what you need to start with first. So the very first thing that we would do, Bang Bang, if you were a student of mine, because if you go to an Adronis classroom, right, the Adronis Patreon is patreon.com/Adronis, okay, and you learn how to do this. And you work together with cleaning out your system, because really what we need to do firstly is get you into the right brain. In order for us to get you into the right brain, we need to start cleaning out your energy body. We also want to start working with your physical body. We start want to work together with your wounds and pain. We want to clear that up. We want to balance that. So you're jumping way ahead of the gun here. You're basically about 100 steps ahead when I say, hey, get back here. It is too soon for you to know that information. You have to do the inner work first. And this is why I get people to do that, because I'm helping them to get polished. They are polished, and now they start connecting with their higher self. And now through the higher self, if they feel they like to request a guide shows up. That is the proper way to do it, right? Even the great Edgar Cayce would even answer questions when people are asking, oh, how can I connect with a spirit guide? Edgar Cayce would always say to them, go to the higher self first. Go to spirit first. And I say the same thing, okay? So bang, bang, you're way too ahead of the gun here, right? So maybe pull the gun back, bang, bang, and put it back in the holster, because we have a lot of things that we have to do first. You have to learn more about Om Japa. You have to learn about cleaning your chakras. You have to learn about checking in with yourself. You have to learn about working with your energy. You have to learn more about Kundalini. You want to go up into the right side of the brain, the right hemisphere of the brain, and start going into the subconscious fields. You want to work with your own personal Akasha. Through that, you will learn how to connect with the higher self. As you connect with the higher self and you form an established connection with the higher self, now a spirit guide can come to you. Okay? There are many different steps ahead of things. And unfortunately, guys, 90 to 95% of people out there that teach channeling are basically con artists. Okay? You basically want to make sure that if they are not doing what I'm telling you here, they are not in any way legitimate. Okay, you have to work on yourself. You have to build a foundation. You have to work with your chakra centers. You have to work with your traumas. You have to heal those. You want to start working with the flow of energy. You want to be able to sense subtle energy within your body. You want to feel the flow of Kundalini moving up and down the spine. You want to move into the right hemisphere of the brain. You want to move into states of expansion. You want to work with the subconscious field. We have some exercises for that. And then we start connecting with the higher self. And you see the higher self as you could say, just as an illuminated version of yourself. And you're testing the higher self. You're connecting with the higher self. You're asking the higher self questions. Okay? That's got to come first. And if no one is teaching you that, they are not a good teacher. Simple as that. You have to learn it this way. You've got to build your foundation. Okay? So what I would suggest to you, Bang Bang, is go to patreon.com/Adronis. There's a 7-day free trial. For those of you who want to talk to Adronis, why aren't you signing up for the Patreon? You can talk to him every single week, right? $18 a month. There's also Adronis Answers. There's videos that I make for people who have questions for him. And I put that on Patreon as well too, okay? Patreon.com/Adronis. Let me see if I actually have the banner here for that. Did I put it up yet? Maybe I didn't put it up yet. Okay, let's create a banner then. Maybe this will be easier. Patreon.com/Adronis. Okay, add banner. All right, so that's where you go. Okay, and like I said, there's a 7-day free trial. So you can take that trial for 7 days, which means you'll get a free classroom. I'm not doing a classroom this coming Sunday because I have to do some other things on the Sunday. But the Sunday after next, there'll be another classroom coming. But there's a lot of material that you can review through that 7-day trial because we've already done 15 classes, right? So there's a lot of stuff that you can explore. But Adronis teaches you how to go into the higher self, how to work on yourself, how to build your foundation. And then when you're ready, a guide can come. Okay? Thank you very much for your question. Okay, how are we doing on? We still have more donations. Well, okay, now we got one more here. So Billy just accidentally donated twice, but that's okay. Billy, I don't know if that's a question I can help you out with. When will my comedy get back on track? I don't even know what you're talking about. So you need to be a little bit more specific with me when your comedy will get back on track. Maybe drop me an email. Tell me a little bit more about your situation because I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, thank you. All right, that'll be all for the donation-based questions. Let's go ahead and move on to some of the posted questions. Okay. All right, here's one here from Didar Singh. Didar says, what's the best way to flush out heavy metals from water? Heavy metals from water. Okay. Well, then you would probably want to work with the body deck. Okay. There is a heavy metal eliminator card in the body deck, and you can put that in water, and that can help to flush a lot of it out. I wouldn't say really flush it out, but basically it kind of keeps it into a state of stagnancy. Okay. But to actually extract microparticle metals from water on a practical level, I couldn't really answer that question. Heavy metals from water, though, other than that, it may be using a filter, right? If there's filters that basically clear out a lot of heavy metals, I don't know. But basically, if you have water where you're not too sure that there may be some metal particles in, pretty much almost all water has that. We use the body deck because what that does is that puts a stagnancy on the metal. So even if you're drinking down particles of metal within your cells, it's still being able to be flushed out through the cells, utilizing the heavy metal eliminator. Okay, so heavy metal eliminator is one way. Radiate is another way. Okay, so those are two particular products that I have that focus on clearing out heavy metals. The safeguards, the personal safeguards, is a digital download. That's also something that you can use to help flush metals out of the body. So I'd say the more appropriate question is flushing metals out of you. Okay, we can't really tell unless you have some sort of advanced goggle or something of that nature about what we're really drinking, right? We could have the healthiest water and there may still be some metal contamination in it. It's more about what's coming in through you and then working with the body's natural system to flush out those metals. Okay. To my knowledge, I don't think we have any magic goggles that are basically causing you to see particles. Sorry, that's my printer going off right now. Okay, so that's what I can say about that, Dieter. Okay, work with yourself. Work with flushing out metals through yourself. If some come in, at least you'll know how to clear it out. Okay. All right, so let's go on to another question. So this one here is from Martin. Now, Martin, I have to withdraw your request simply because if we did a Zodiac reading for the East, you're basically looking at about 30, 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, when I've done Zodiac readings in the past, it's taken up about half the webcast. What I will do is next week, I will look into Europe pertaining to what they're going through the Zodiac spread. Okay, so next week will be a European tarot Zodiac spread looking into Europe itself. Okay, so right now we can't do it. It's just it takes up too much time. Okay, let me go on further. How much time we got? We got about 20, 30 minutes. Okay. All right, it's going down the questions here a bit. Okay, I'm just looking for people there are some people that are asking free questions, but they've already asked donation-based questions. So let me see here. Okay, John says, hi, Brad, a question. Can Adronis talk about precious stones like sapphire? What's the spiritual or energy meaning behind it? Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and bring him in and see what he says about that, about sapphire. We thank you very much for your question about the stone that you term as sapphire. Well, sapphire is actually a very strong buffer for nature itself. When it grows deeper into the earth, it is actually that of a purifier. It contains, in that sense, a very, very powerful assortment of frequency rays that can actually function as transmitters, but they can also basically help to reverse decay within the soil as well too. So sapphire can in that sense be a decayer, or shall we say a prevention of decay, a decay eliminator. That's what we're looking for. When you basically have that particular jewel and you have, as it were, a sapphire pendant or sapphire necklace or bracelet or anything of that nature, this is actually doing wonders for your own nervous system at the same time. It is very well known for helping to clear out nervous system issues. It is also helping out with blood purification. All right. So again, if you have pure sapphire, expect increases of good health pertaining to your nervous system, your blood circulation, and even through many of your filtration organs, such as the liver and the kidneys as well. It is also very strongly a cyclic amplifier and transmitter. So when you're meditating on the pure sapphire, this can actually connect you to much more higher states and assisting you to move much more deeper into the theta. The theta in the sapphire jewel itself basically can become amplified through meditative concentration. It can also assist in the idea of functioning as a communication pertaining to, shall we say, higher elemental beings. In fact, it can actually be something that the fairy folk do covet quite a bit pertaining to the nature of sapphire, such as certain fairies. All right, so you can look at it in that way. There are many means and many uses and many capabilities of the sapphire, but these are a few examples. All right, we thank you for your question. Okay, thank you, John, for your question. Okay. Okay, here's a very interesting one here from Shea. Shea says, "Hi, Brad and Adronis. My question is, can Adronis speak more on the Great Mother aspect of creation and how worshipping her can affect one's life and the collective?" Okay, 1 minute. We thank you very much, Shea, for your question pertaining to that of the Divine Mother. Now, when you're looking at her role throughout creation, well, she is the creation itself. If you're looking at the embodiment of Creator, you're looking at the Mother. So if you're looking at the Father is the seed bringer. The Father plants the seeds. It plants the ideas. It plants the conceptions. The Mother takes those seeds and makes it into a beautiful creation. So the Mother is all about the nurturer. The beautiful womb that is the planet Earth is evident of that, with every beautiful creature upon the planet that the Mother Earth cares for her. The Father is the seed bringer of those particular forms of life, and the Mother cultivates them, creates them, nourishes them, harmonizes with them, balances them. So, therefore, as you're looking into the nature of a worship pertaining to the nature of the Mother, well, firstly, see the Mother as yourself. See the Mother within you. Do not worship anything externalized. Look into the idea of how your worship is internalized. If it is something that is externalized, let it be a reminder to what is within you, because you share the spirit of the Mother and the Father within you. But if your preference is to connect directly to the Divine Mother, then you are connecting to the epitome of creation itself. If you decide to exercise that through the nature of the Mother, pertaining to your practices, be it worship, puja, etc., then what you're doing is you're learning to be nurturing, loving, compassionate, protective, caretaking life all around the planet, through nature, through all the living beings upon your planet. Compassion comes first. And that is the very nature in regards to working with the Mother. The Mother is patient. Look exactly at what humanity has done to your planet and how your Mother has had no malice thought to what you have been doing to her. Despite the idea of pollution and contamination and fighting and corruption, your Mother has never once thought of squashing any single one of you. So that is giving you an idea of the patience and the unconditional love of the Mother. Can you exercise that through yourself? Can you be that living example, like how the Mother Earth here is doing that with you? How Sophia is doing that? How Gaia is doing that? Well, if you are able to hold that within yourself and demonstrate that through yourself, therefore you know the power of the Mother. All right? We thank you. Okay. I have one of those mega tank printers, so at times it tries to clean itself. So that's the noise you're hearing in the background. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Okay, printer, you're done. Thank you. Yeah. It's one of those brother printers. Cleaning. Do not put paper in the manual feed slot. It likes to choose a time, I guess. Okay. Let me go down further. I'm just looking for questions, guys. I'm not really taking any comments. So let me just see. Okay. So Karate, I'm hearing a couple of your replies here, right? So one of them was, I've already healed myself now. Kindly bring Adronis, let me know if I'm getting progress. No, Karate, by that very question, you haven't. Okay. There's things you need to look at. Really, what I would say is don't take offense when someone else is seeing something within yourself that you cannot see. Take it as a compliment. People have said that with me, or Brad, I'm seeing that you're like this, you're like that. And I look at that and I reflect on that and say, oh, well, maybe there is something there that I have not yet seen. Okay. Bleeding in these 6 years were enough to find balance. Now, kindly tell me, Karate, you're not. Okay. The very fact that you're basically trying to make progress in 2025 and you don't know it tells me you haven't fully healed. Okay. I've already given you a perspective through your question. You need to explore this and find out exactly where you want to take yourself. It is not up to another person, be they an intuitive, a psychic, an astrologer, or what have you, to try and lay out your entire plan for your life, be it for another year or another 2 years or anything of that nature. You have to explore yourself and see exactly who I am and what I want. I've given you some perspective. You can either take that or leave it. But nonetheless, you're charting your own course. You have to realize that. And if you don't, you haven't healed yourself yet. Please take that into consideration. All right. Like I said, it's happened to me. We just get to this point. So, no, I've healed myself and I'm fine. Then why are you asking these questions? Why are you asking these questions? If you're healed and you're fine, then you should trust yourself about where you want to take yourself in the time ahead, because you're still second guessing yourself. You still have a lack of trust. That needs to be worked on. It's happened to me. It's happened to many people I've worked with. We have to look at this with an open mind, not a closed one. All right. Okay. Let's go down here a little bit more. Okay. I'm still just getting some comments here. Okay. So I'm just looking for some questions here to see. I don't think I have any more donation-based questions. I think I've gotten them all done. I'm just reading through the list here, everybody. So just give me a few moments here. Okay, here's one from Chu. Chu says, this machine can be used to scan the body of any diseases and heal the body using frequency. I'm not too sure what. Oh, okay. I think there's another one up here. Okay, a friend of mine in Austria told me about a quantum medicine machine made by Russian scientists in the 1980s from Tesla technology. They are in use in mainly in Europe since then. And then, of course, the second part. This machine can be used to scan the body of any diseases and heal the body using frequency. Okay, what is your thought? Well, frequency can help to a certain degree, because that's exactly what I'm doing with etherics, right? We're working with frequency and vibration and energy to help shrink down a lot of troublesome areas within the body. And some technologies do that very, very, very well. I have what's known as a biowell scanner, right? And that does an incredible job of being able to diagnose where there's lack and stagnancy physically within your body, right? And it's really been accurate, because I've even done dowsing, and I've also found similar things as well too at the same time. Okay, so yes, those things are very, very helpful. And if you want to work with an external aid And if you think an external aid is really going to assist you and help you a lot more, only thing I can suggest to you is try it for yourself, right? If you have a model of it, or if you have somebody who does have it and you want to try it out and seeing how it's improving yourself, please do. What I can say with any particular technology is pertaining to our own core traumas. That's our responsibility to clear out, right? We have to clear those out ourselves. And no technology, unfortunately, can do that, right? So as far as traumas go, we have to clear that out. As far as our desires go, we have to clear that out, right? But like I said, certain machines like that can come along and can lend a helping hand. Etherics comes along and lends a helping hand with you. But our own core stuff, we have to take care of that ourselves. But it's very fascinating. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Got a lot of people on here today. It's great. Okay. Okay, so I think we're going to probably take about 2 more questions. We're going to wrap up after that. So this one here is from Did Curve Fan. Brad and Adronis, any advice how to survive the dark night of the soul? I'm crushed in every area of my life, especially financially. You see, when I basically tell you guys these things, when I'm noticing these things, first thing I would say is, number 1, what I say to you, don't take it personally, because this is what I'm just noticing, okay? And there's some of us that basically just keep ourselves so contained and held back and thinking that we're completely okay. I balanced everything. And I look at you and I said, sorry, you haven't, right? There are quite a few imbalances that I'm saying. And that is not a dig at you, right? But that's telling you, I'm just telling you because you're coming to me and you're asking a question, right? And I bring about that information from what I'm receiving, be it through the Akashic records, be it through the tarot, be it through Adronis or what have you. Okay, so getting to your question here, Didker, hope I'm pronouncing your name right. To survive the dark night of the soul, okay? It's not about survival, because survival is what's got you there in the first place, okay? What I'm sharing with you, my friends, is not new information, okay? It is something that great teachers and great masters have been sharing through their disciples and devotees and even just the public for thousands of years. Jesus has done it, Buddha has done it, Krishna has done it. All of these greats have done it. It is not about surviving the dark night of the soul, because you will perish if you basically try to survive it. Like I said, it's like where you feel like you have no power whatsoever and you're on this rockety boat and you're in the middle of this big gigantic storm. A voice is telling you, you have the power to completely clear that storm away right now. What are you talking about? There's no way I can do that, blah, 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 blah. And then we just get right into the survival instincts of ourselves, telling us about how these things are impossible. It is not about surviving the dark night of the soul. Now, Did Kurfan, maybe you need to talk to me a little bit more. Maybe you need to tell me more about what you're going through, because that will help me to help you a lot more, okay? But like I said, if you're saying that you're having some problems financially in that way, like I said, we have abuse pertaining to money. Our nature of money has been based upon abuse and rejection, right? We have not been encouraged about how to work together with finances properly, and we get discouraged by that. And I'm telling you this, guys, from hands-on experience. Everything I share with you comes from my own experiences. It does not just come from me reading a book and then telling you what that author says. I don't work that way. I'm always telling you this from life experience, all right? So when you're having financial difficulty, you have been hurt, you have been wounded, representing what finances are to you. And again, somebody will bash you. Somebody will tell you, you don't know how to handle money, you're good for nothing, blah, blah, blah. And you'll get abused and you'll get rejected when it comes to that financial means. So this is exactly what we have to heal. This is what we have to correct, right? And this is why we work with some of the practices that I'm offering to help clear that out. Like I said, if you go into my playlists of my YouTube channel, there are quite a few different practices for free that you're able to do. But what we have to do is we have to go back to the beginning. We have to go back from the start and say, when did this first start to happen? When I'm looking at money, when did that first impact me? Do I know how old I was? Maybe I don't have my exact age. Maybe I was a young teenager. Maybe I was in my older teens. Maybe I was a young adult. Okay. And I felt like I struggled with finances because nobody would trust me with it, or feeling that I couldn't handle money well, or I don't have any skills, or I don't have any capabilities to do anything, right? And that's your bloat. And that's what we need to correct, okay? So what we need to do, the advice here, not to survive the dark night of the soul, but to transcend it, because you're moving into transcendent states. To transcend the dark night of the soul is no longer being at the mercy of its onslaughts. You are no longer at the mercy of its traumas. You are no longer at the mercy pertaining to its desires and its reactions. And that's what you need to clear out within yourself. And that's what we do with trauma transcendence technique. This is what I'm going to show you guys as soon as it's ready here. And it's going to be ready here in just a few days. And you work together with this 10-day e-course, and it takes you through the entire practice of the trauma transcendence technique. And it also gives you a lot more extra information for practicing. Okay. And we do this almost religiously. We clear it out. We clear out the problems. We clear out the traumas. The only reason you feel this way is because you're traumatized. That's just the fact of life, my friends. This is not being said in a belittlement, but this is the truth. I've worked with tens of thousands of clients all over the world for the past 16 years. And this is what I've found, right? It's how we see ourselves. I could praise you to the moon and you still feel down on yourself. Why? Because you haven't healed your wounds. You're bleeding all over the place, right? And you need to go in and you need to heal those wounds, right? That is how you make progress. That is how you develop yourself. That's how you get out of the dark night of the soul, because you've transcended it. Okay. So Didker fan, if this makes sense to you, I'd like you to talk to me some more. Okay. Drop me an email, bradjohnson79@gmail.com. Tell me about your situation. Let's see what we can do together. Okay. But that's really the key. We don't survive the dark night of the soul. We transcend it. Okay. We have another donation-based question here from Gordon. Gordon says, what are the electrical pulses, sometimes shocks in my feet or big toes out of nowhere mean? It has been for 30 years to present. So there's telling me there's spinal issues. Okay. You may have compressed nerves or pinched nerves within the vertebrae. Okay. So your hips, your entire spinal vertebrae may be in some problems, some trouble here. Okay. So, I mean, I could find a lot more with a full body scan, but from what I've learned, if we're getting a lot of shocks in the feet, then basically we have a lot of compressed nerves, right? There's basically compressed nerves are happening. It could be pinched nerves as well too, happening in the vertebrae. So we would need to go in and correct the vertebrae. Yes, I can do that through energy cord attunement. Yes, I can do that through full body scan. Okay. So Gordon, you would need to talk to me and I could look into a little bit more, but that's telling me there's something wrong with your spine. There's something wrong with the nerves in the spine. And the nerves are basically being inflamed. Either they're being compressed or they're infected. And we need to look into those a little bit more. That way I can get into specific details about what's going on with your spine and your hips. Okay? Thank you, Gordon. All right. All right, let me see here. Okay, well, here's a testimonial about someone who's doing the trauma transcendence technique, right? The trauma transcendence technique worked miracles in my life too when it came to eradicating massive, and I mean massive traumas. It no longer triggers me. And everybody, this is exactly what I've done with myself, as I've had horrifying traumas going through my past, and I've cleaned every single one of them out. At times I get a little bit of challenges here and there, but nowhere near the level as they once were. And guys, I'm giving this to you for free. You do not have to pay for the trauma transcendence technique. So in the meantime, look at the webcast. The webcast I did a few months back, that's on my YouTube channel. You owe it to yourself to check it out, right? And that's the key here. Being able to check it out, being able to work with it, and being able to see the difference for yourself. Because I can praise it to the moon, and so can other people. But until you actually do, right? Then it's just going to be the idea of you battling down with your dark night of the soul, right? All right, great. So I think we're all done for today. So thank you, everybody, for all of your questions. I will go ahead and conclude for today, and I will see you all next week, next Wednesday. I'll see if I can put a couple more videos up this week as well too. Blessings to you all. I hope you have an amazing rest of the end of the month. And again, we're going to start in December next week, and we're going to do that European, what do you call it? The European tarot spread, the Zodiac tarot spread. There we go. European Zodiac tarot spread starting next week. All right. Take care, guys. Blessings to you all. Namaskar, and may be well with you. Goodbye for now.